Hello, welcome to the July 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission. We have roll call, please.
Vice Chair Zadorian,
Here.
Commissioner Hay,
Here.
Commissioner Kazumian, Commissioner Kazumian,
Here, sorry.
Commissioner Vidor,
Here.
Commissioner Atayan,
Here.
Commissioner Kazorian, here, and Chairperson Yang.
Here.
Agenda item 1, the agenda for the July 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission was posted on July 14th, 2025 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. Agenda item 2, consent items, minutes of the May 15th, 2025 regular Arts and Culture Commission meeting.
If everyone had a chance to look at the minutes, take any corrections or comments right now?
No, I move to approve.
Can we get a second?
I second it.
Roll call, Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Yes.
Commissioner Kasumian,
Yes.
Commissioner Vidor,
Yes.
and Chairperson Yang.
Yes.
Agenda item 3, introductions and presentations, library arts and culture events presented by Loretta Lopez, Program Coordinator. Join us for eclectic live music outside on the lawn behind Brand Library and Art Center. The Brand Summer Music Series is a free outdoor concert series taking place every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. from July 11th through August 29th. This Friday, July 18th, enjoy a concert by the Ara Dabanjian Quartet as they perform world music. Visitors are welcome to bring a chair or a blanket and picnic on the grassy hillsides in Brand Park. Seats are not provided. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Brand Library and Art Center and the Brand Associates invite you to join us for a reception celebrating the opening of Brand 53 on Saturday, July 19th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. This year's annual exhibition features more than 100 artworks from around the country chosen by juror Sigrid Burton, a widely exhibited artist engaged in the local art community. The exhibition will be on view from July 19th through September 12th. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Applications for this year's Beyond the Box program are now open. The theme of this year's program is Celebrating Glendale, and applicants are encouraged to develop a design focusing on what makes Glendale special. This year, utility boxes will be wrapped in vinyl covering the exterior of the box. Selected artists will receive $750 per utility box design rendering. Artwork for 5 utility boxes will be selected. The application deadline is Friday, July 25th at 5 p.m. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Dream Stop by the Delight Art Foundation is on view at the Adams Square Mini Park gas station. Dream Stop showcases children's artwork and calls on people to stop and take time to dream. Self-portraits on boxes express the multiple sides of an artist's identity, and multimedia heart creations reveal their dearest passions. Paper planes hanging from the ceiling hold business cards that illustrate what kids would do in a world without adults. This installation will be on view until July 25th. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Glendale Library Arts and Culture invites you to join a series of virtual author talks in partnership with the Library Speakers Consortium. On Thursday, July 31st at 11 a.m., you're invited to a fascinating conversation with neurologist and author Priya Anand to chat about her new book, The Mind Electric, a neurologist on the strangeness and wonder of our brains. The Mind Electric speaks to the stories we tell ourselves about our brains and the stories that our brains tell us. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. Agenda item 4, oral communications. There are none. Agenda item 5, written communications. There are none. Agenda item 6, action items. Armenian Film Society sponsorship opportunity. Motion approving 1, the funding of a proposal by the Armenian Film Society to provide programming associated with the Armenian Film Festival from September 3rd through 7th, 2025. And 2, the sponsorship of programming in an amount not to exceed $10,000 from the 2025 to 2026 work plan.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have a sponsorship opportunity for your consideration. We're going to invite Armen Karagoglagyan from the Armenian Film Society, who's going to present on the opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all again, some new faces. My name is Armen. I'm with the Armenian Film Society. I was here a year ago and came back to update you all on how our film festival went. And I'm back here to see if we can get some support, sponsorship for this year's Armenian Film Festival. I talked about what the Armenian Film Festival is and what we do at Armenian Film Society, but I want to just give a very quick overview. We can move into the next slide just for a refresher. This year's Armenian Film Festival will be held September 3rd through the 7th in Glendale. Can we move the slide forward, or do I have to do I? Okay. Some of the guests we've had at the Armenian Film Society over the last 10 years are up on the screen. There's many more. We've hosted about 200-300 events now. We've had Oscar winners from all around the world, including Michael Dana and Nick Vallelonga. We've had people like Adam Egoyan and Serge Tankian, and many others that have participated at our events and at our festival. Next slide, please. This year's festival is going to be held across 3 different venues. We're going to be at the Alex Theater for our opening night on September 3rd for the Los Angeles premiere of a film called Monsieur Aznavour, which is a film about the life of Charles Aznavour that's never screened here before, so we're really excited. The following days will be at the Americana at Brand for a series of short films and feature films and conversations with some really amazing filmmakers that are traveling all around the world to come to Glendale, including local filmmakers. And our closing night on September 7th is at Vertigo, the restaurant, where we'll be having our first ever gala, which we're really excited about. This is our 10-year anniversary of Armenian Film Society, so we want to commemorate it with a very special evening. We haven't announced the details of what we plan on doing at the gala, but we will soon. But we're going to be honoring some really fantastic filmmakers at this gala. So I said our opening night is the film Monsieur Aznavour, which is a French film, and it's really fantastic. And it's a film for anyone who loves movies, loves Charles Aznavour, loves music, and pretty much everyone, because it's such a magical, fantastic film. And we're excited to host the premiere of it here. Talked a little bit about the gala, but I think what to expect is just a really fantastic evening where we're going to have some dinner, some speakers, honorees, and really be able to talk a little bit about, in a little bit more detail, the past, the present, and the future. We are taking this opportunity to talk about what did the next 10 years of AFS look like. And, you know, we were founded in Glendale, we're headquartered in Glendale, and we have some exciting updates to share about what we plan on doing in Glendale over the next 10 plus years. So some of our sponsors this year, we have all of our sponsors virtually from last year returning this year. This is a short list of some of the sponsors. The LA Times is our presenting sponsor once again this year. We have some new folks like Cinephile and Fangoria coming in. And then we're rounded out by a lot of other folks from different industries who all really believe in the work that we're doing and are really the reason, including yourselves, that our festival exists, basically. So, you know, the sponsorship request that we've put in is 10,000, which is comparable to last year. This is a short list, and I could share this in a recap email if you don't already have this, but these are some of the benefits and perks that we offer our sponsors, including some visibility and logo placements at the festival. We try to feature our sponsors and partners as much as possible, and that's included, you know, on screen, in our program, on our website, in our press releases, and social media. And obviously, we want to see all of you there too, so we include tickets to all of our events and our gala, so you can come and experience everything for yourself. I think this is just a series of pictures here. I wanted to provide a look at what the festival has looked like over the last couple of years. So this was our opening night at the Alex 2 years ago, which is where we'll be back again this year. This is our opening night film of Amerikatsi, Serge Tankian, who was a part of the film at the festival. Also our opening night, this is director Michael Gurjan with actress Neve Campbell. So, you know, one of the things I want to talk about is, you know, our events always have an Armenian connection, but they're always open to everyone of any background, because you know, the filmmakers and the stories that we kind of highlight have an Armenian connection and component, but our goal is, we're a film society first and foremost, and we want to draw in as many folks as possible to see things that they maybe have not seen before on screen. This was last year's festival. This was one of the slides on screen, which is shown before all of our events across all 5 days, where all of our attendees get to kind of see our partners up close. Last year's festival and the year before, we had 1,500 attendees. This year, we're anticipating 3,000 plus. And these are the folks that run Armenian Film Society, behind the scenes, and they're the volunteers, and it's really with their support and with their hard work that the festival is able to run like a very well-oiled machine. And that's my son, who has attended every Armenian Film Festival and actually got to see his first film ever at the closing night of last year's festival. And obviously that means a great deal to me as a movie lover. And we will have him back this year to be able to participate. So we're excited about that as well. I think that's it. I wanted to just make sure that there was enough time for any questions that I can answer. We were incredibly grateful for your support last year, and we'd be incredibly grateful for your support this year. And I'm happy to answer any questions that there might be. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions from any of the commissioners? Vice Chair Zadorian?
I don't have questions, but I love that the presentation was very concise, and I love that it's detailed on exactly what the sponsorship is going to go to, because usually that's what our questions are about, and that means I have no questions. So it was a great presentation.
Great,
Thank you,
thank
and
you.
I'm looking forward to being there this year.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hay, anything from you?
I don't have any questions. I support this.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kasumian?
I absolutely love that Hollywood is coming to Glendale. It has been for so many years. So many productions have filmed here, from Criminal Minds and growing up in Glendale. You always see a film production company left and right, and it gives you so much excitement. I do wonder if with the sponsorship you showed the logo, if you're not just putting our logo, maybe we can somehow incorporate our upcoming events and possible like utility box advertisements, so people will know more about what we do and versus just our title,
Sure.
if that's an option. But other than that, I love what you guys are doing, and I hope to see more.
Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely open to have that conversation. I think the program ad, the festival program, the festival program is, I would say, probably the best place to put something like that, because it's something people can take home with them. If you have a QR code or a link or more information that they can follow up on. We've had a lot of success with folks being able to engage in that way, but happy to continue that conversation, find the right place depending on what types of imagery or advertisements that you guys have that you want us to spotlight, for sure. Thank you.
Commissioner Vidor?
Fantastic. I think it's going to be wonderful. And I'm sorry I missed everything related to film last year, and this year I hope to make up for it and be at the festival. I'm really curious about, you have an amazing and impressive list of sponsors, and I'm really interested in, not to reduce things, it seems crass to reduce, something like this to money, but I'm very interested to know, like, what the deck stacks like, like what are your biggest donations, like what kind of support are you getting from your donor community?
It's a great question. For many years, we've run on a lot of, very few resources. And obviously, the scope of our events, and certainly when we launched the festival, things have gone quite bigger. So we really look to our partners and our sponsors to come in and support. So we get a combination of sponsors, which are mainly like businesses and organizations that come together to support at various tiers. And we also have some private donors that come in and support us. So the festival, we have sponsorship tiers that start at around $2,500 and it goes up to $25,000. We do have some sponsors that kind of come in and look for something a little bit more customized. Some folks that might have a lot less money, a lot more money. and kind of come in and support, and we try to customize that package for them. I'd say, this year we started everything a little bit early. We started our programming and our outreach and our marketing and our call for sponsors earlier. And really, it's been an overwhelmingly positive response. The festival budget has grown considerably over the last couple of years, but the sponsors have also kind of come in at higher levels and been able to support as well. I'm happy to talk some numbers if that might be helpful, but we've had a lot of those folks that you saw on the screen come in and be able to help us meet the overall budget of the festival. We would not be able to put on the show that we're putting on this year without the financial support that they've given us. Our goal here is, what Commissioner Kusumian said is about bringing Hollywood to Glendale. I feel like we're just getting started. We have a lot of folks in our network that are very interested in what we've been building, and a lot of our partners who are interested in coming to Glendale and doing some really fantastic programming with us. So that's why we turn to our partners and try to share our vision with them and see if they're able to support that. But let me know if you'd like for me to talk a little bit more specifically, but they've all kind of come in at different tiers, but been overwhelmed with the amount of support that we've received from our partners this year.
I'm not interested in the particular figures. I was curious if you had a deck and what the span of the deck was, and you described that.
Yeah,
so
great.
It sounds great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kazorian?
I thought it was great. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Atian?
Likewise, I'm a future filmmaker, so this is all very exciting to me.
Amazing. Hope to see you there.
All right, and no questions from me, so I'm happy to take a motion.
I move to approve. Do I need to make the entire statement?
No, because Ms. Lopez read it.
Thank you.
I second.
Roll call, Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzumian,
Yes.
Commissioner Vidor,
Yes.
and Chairperson Yink.
Yes.
Thank you all, and I can't wait to see you there. Have a good day.
Ditto.
Agenda item 6B, Martial Arts History Museum sponsorship opportunity. Motion approving 1, the funding of a proposal by the Martial Arts History Museum to provide programming associated with Dragon Fest on August 2nd, 2025, and 2, the sponsorship of programming in an amount not to exceed $3,000 from the 2025 to 2026 work plan.
Commissioners, we have another sponsorship opportunity for your consideration with the Martial Arts History Museum, and we're going to invite Michael Matsuda, who's the executive director and founder of the Martial Arts History Museum. I hand it over to Michael.
Thank you so much. Well, by the way, we do have a museum. It's called the Martial Arts History Museum. My name is Michael Matsuda. I'm president and founder of the museum. I'll say quickly about the museum, in case you didn't know, yes, we moved the museum here from the city of Burbank here to the city of Glendale. This is our 26th year for the museum, and we're thrilled to death to be here. We've been here a little over a year now, so I'm very excited to have different Asian culture and all that here as part of Glendale. So anyway, we put on a convention called Dragon Fest. Dragon Fest, this is our 19th year putting it on, and we put it on the Glendale Civic Auditorium. It's our biggest event of the year. It's a Asian cultural event, and it's our biggest fundraiser for the museum, because we have a facility here, and it's not cheap, as you know, rent. So anyway, this helps us out and keeps the museum going. So go ahead, and Dragon Fest is an Asian cultural event focusing on Asian martial arts, not just martial arts, but taiko drumming, all these different things that connect with martial arts. So music, art, culture, all connects with the martial arts. So on stage, we have a lot of different celebrations on there, Chinese face changing, lion dancing, and so many more. We celebrate the positive contributions of the Asian American community, and then our events highlight the role martial arts plays in Asian events. So again, it's filled with a lot of great stuff. We have about maybe 6 or 7 performances on stage during the whole convention, so people can learn about Asian culture. We also have 6 lectures throughout the day. Okay, if you can go to the next slide. We have 100 vendor booths throughout the event, and this is their biggest event for the entire martial arts community. Now, one of the goals of the Martial Arts History Museum is not to focus on the punch and kick. It's to talk about the art, the music, the culture, everything that's connected with it. Punch and kick is secondary. So I wanted to let people know about China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, and so much more. But now in our big space, we have an Armenian section, we have a Native American section, we have a lot more than just Asian martial arts. But anyway, back to Dragon Fest. 100% of all the funds collected go directly to the museum. Nobody gets paid. Everything is voluntary. Everybody helps, which is nice. Let's go. We have, there we go. Some of our costs involved. I didn't know how much detail you guys needed, so I gave you a lot of detail. I hope that's okay. Rental of the convention center, not cheap. So $7,891. There's a cost of advertising. We have a minimum of advertising. I wish we had more, but that's what we got. Truck rentals, the cost of flyers, certificates, banners. And by the way, for the commission, we're happy to have a booth there. We're happy to put a large banner on stage as well, and then give you time to talk about the arts and commission as part of Glendale. We've had the former mayor there, city council there, talk on stage, so we're happy to have you guys there on stage and to promote this as well. We have, again, a lot of our volunteers that help out. Throwing a convention this size requires a lot of volunteers. Picking up the stuff, renting the truck, taking it there, setting it up the day before, and then tearing it down the night, and then running the event the whole time. So if you've ever done a convention, you know how much time it takes. So we have a lot of volunteers throughout the day, so we have to help them, feed them, all that kind of stuff. The next slide, please. We honor our volunteers. Again, we have our performances on stage. We're very thankful to Catherine Barger for supporting us for cultural events. Michael Antonovich supported us before that many, many years. So we're very thankful to have our volunteers, again, help us at the museum. Okay. Some of our sponsors include Musashi Martial Arts, as you can see, Catherine Barger, many others. Total from our sponsors is about $15,000. Total for our vendor booths is about $6,250, and ticket sales is about $12,500. Again, everything goes to the museum. And there's our total, the amount of sponsorship, tickets. Again, I hope that's not too detailed. But that gives you the amount of what we make at the museum. And again, everything goes to the museum. Next slide. And the one thing about Dragon Fest that helps us, do a lot of stuff at the museum. Besides being a martial arts history museum, we do a lot of stuff for the Glendale community. We do a lot of events that we host a lot of people with dementia and Alzheimer's. We do a lot, almost every week we have them at the museum. We do not charge them at all. We work with them to do special tours. We do tours with those adults who are physically and mentally challenged all the time. We don't broadcast this, but we meet with other groups that bring them there all the time. We never charge them at all. We think it's important to give back to the city, and that's how we give back, working with people. We're hoping to do other classes at the museum, health classes, other things on facing dementia, other things like that. We're trying to do our best to include those classes so that way we can be a great benefit to the community of the city of Glendale. That's my whole spiel. Whatever questions you got, here I am.
Thank you so much. Any comments or questions from commissioners? Vice Chair Sidorian?
Yes. Well, we love detail, so thank you. I actually have a question. I would love to know why you moved here from Burbank to Glendale.
Well, we were this is our 26th year, and we were in Burbank for 15 years. And we were getting, it was a small place. It was 1,600 square feet, plus the back area we made into a theater, outside parking lot. And it was nice, but we were staying stagnant. We weren't big enough to have schools in. That was our problem. I wanted to get the local schools here, and we weren't big enough, so we needed to find another place. And then Mayor Artie at the time and his friend said, Michael, you got to bring the museum here to Glendale, because Glendale, you have a great city council, you have the schools here, you have more traffic here. You need to bring it to here in Glendale. So that's what we did. We brought it with Mayor Artie's advice and help, and we brought it here, and I think it was a great move for us, because now we can get the schools in. You know, in a 1,600 square foot place, we had a school in, 90 kids, and they were just crammed in there. Now our place is 8,000 square feet. We can fit 3 schools in there with no problem at all. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to move to be a bigger place. Now we have a theater in there, and we can do a lot more stuff. We just had a mini Comic-Con last Saturday in there. So now it's a big space, and we can do a lot more things. And now we're off Brand Boulevard, and a lot more traffic, and the city council here. You know, I brag about this, excuse me. I brag about this meeting with LA City Council, meeting with Santa Clarita City Council when we were over there, meeting with Burbank City Council, and they all said, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. But when we met with the city council here, they said, what can we do to bring the museum here? So that to me impressed me. So that was one of the reasons we moved here.
I was not expecting that answer, and I'm so happy I asked. Because, well, now I know who to thank, and I'm actually very happy to be stealing you from other cities and bringing you into Glendale, because it's going to be a highlight of exactly what we've been wanting to do as a commission, which is make Glendale an arts destination. So thank you for being a part of that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very happy, and I will be very supportive of the Dragon Fest. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You know, and the museum, we do events almost every week, from art shows to movie screenings to book signings and artist stuff more and more. As a former artist from Disney, I believe in art. So we have these events all the time, a lot of them free to the public. We just had a book signing and all that. So we're happy to do different things, not just martial arts stuff, you know, but different things to have the community come to the museum and enjoy the museum as part of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hay, any questions or comments?
No questions, but it's going to be a comment. So at first, like Dragon Fest may seem like an event centered only on martial arts, but when we look more closely, it becomes clear that this is a cultural celebration that aligns perfectly with our goals as an Arts and Culture Commission, promoting diversity, cultural heritage, community engagement, and education through accessible public programming. The Martial Arts History Museum has long served as a unique institution, preserving and presenting the deep cultural traditions that martial arts representing from China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, and beyond. Martial arts are not just about physical skills, they carry with them centuries of art, music, costume, language, philosophy, and storytelling. In that sense, they are a dynamic and living art form. So Dragon Fest itself is more than an expo. It is a cultural festival that brings together demonstrations, performances, film screenings, artists, authors, and community organizations in a highly interactive setting. It is family-friendly, intergenerational, and welcoming to both enthusiasts and newcomers. This is the kind of culture programming that removes barriers and invites people into traditions they might not otherwise encounter. From an investment standpoint, the request is modest, just $3,000, but the return in terms of visibility, community outreach, and engagement is significant. Dragon Fest draws thousands of visitors, including many from our own city, and promotes Glendale as a city that values inclusive programming. Approving this sponsorship supports a form of cultural expression that is often underrepresented in mainstream arts funding. It affirms our commitment to lifting up diverse cultural narratives and engaging with the broader communities that make up Glendale's population and the Los Angeles region more broadly. For all of these reasons, cultural, educational, and civic, I am supporting it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Commissioner Kasumian?
I too am happy you guys are here in Glendale. I know the children of our community will very much benefit from this. So that right there is good enough for me. So welcome to Glendale, and I'm happy to join you on August 2nd.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Vidor?
Thank you very much for your detailed and informative presentation. Really interesting. And yes, I had the same reaction to your comments as Commissioner Zadorian. You know, Glendale in the past sometimes has been reluctant, and seeing this type of change that's happening, that, you know, obviously you've spearheaded that approach in some ways, is just really exciting. And, you know, to the point of bringing Hollywood to Glendale, thank you for doing your part for that. Just wonderful, really. So look forward to being there.
Thank you so much. I'm always thrilled we get a lot of stars that come, which I'm very thrilled to bring here to Glendale. Thank you.
That's cool.
Commissioner Kazorian?
Yes, I do have a question. You had mentioned that you have like field trips, or schools go and visit the museum. What are the ages that you get the kids to come, and like what are the ages that range that usually come and visit your museum?
Great question. We have a huge range. One of the things is families. We get a lot of families that come to the museum. We get a lot of people who go on dates that come to the museum as well. And then we have a lot of elderly people that come to the museum. You know, we had, when I was talking about the tours that we give to people with dementia and Alzheimer's, we had one group there that were 90 and above. And they'd walk around, and one of them saw his teacher from 1920. This picture on there. And all of a sudden he started talking the whole time. He wasn't talking before, but here he was talking all about his teacher. So that made it really rewarding for doing that. But we do tons of groups. The kids that come in, as little as 4, they have a good time. As a former Disney artist, I designed the place to look a little bit of a Disney feel, to have enough words, not too many, so people can read everything. There's video so people can see it. There's closed caption, there's sound, there's everything, the senses, so people can enjoy the place. So everybody reads everything, and there's a lot of pictures and a lot of video and a lot of stuff. So it's very interactive. So I wanted young kids to enjoy it. So that's why we do field trips, we do scavenger hunts, we do all that with the kids, and they have a great time learning about culture. And they're having an education while they're learning. So the range of people that come, from the kids from elementary school, we get a lot of those, and then the adults, and then families. Families is a big thing we have.
Thank you. Great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Commissioner Tayan?
All my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Can I go and then I'll go back to you? Or do you, go ahead.
I was just thinking that, is it possible to consider going to 5,000?
Of course.
It's at the discretion of the commission.
Yeah, I'm asking the commission, I guess, and then.
Yeah, I'll make my comment now, and I'm in agreement with raising it to 5,000, just because that's an enormous amount of work that you're putting into this festival. And I mean, 20,000 helps, but it takes a lot more than that to run a museum. So I think just, due to the amount that you're doing for the community and the events that you're having, I feel like that would be a very reasonable, it's a very modest amount that you're asking for. So I feel like it would be reasonable to raise that to 5, if my other commissioners agree with me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, that's so kind. Thank you.
Any?
No, I was just going to say if Ms. Lopez can read the updated motion with the
Okay.
new amount, and then we can second.
And then
the
we
motion.
can make it, okay.
Updated motion approving, 1, the funding of a proposal by the Martial Arts History Museum to provide programming associated with Dragon Fest on August 2nd, 2025, and 2, the sponsorship of programming in an amount not to exceed $5,000 from the 2025 to 2026 work plan.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Yes.
Commissioner Kazumian,
Yes.
Commissioner Vidor,
Yes.
and Chairperson Ying.
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope to see you there.
You bet.
Okay.
Agenda item 6C, Citywide Public Art Landmarks RFQ number 3, LaBasse Projects. Motion approving proposed locations for public art landmark pieces to be included as part of the Citywide Public Art Landmarks RFQ number 3, and the application review process to be managed by LaBasse Projects on behalf of the City of Glendale.
Commissioners, we are excited to introduce LaBasse Projects, who you're very familiar with. But just as a quick overview, we've been working with LaBasse Projects as our public art consultant since 2021. Oh my gosh, that would be a long time. Forgive my typing. It's been I haven't even been there that long.
It's not because we're slow.
2021. 4 years on various public art projects. But just to give a quick overview of the different projects that we've been working on, we have the Verdugo Park ground level mural that was completed by Aaron Miller Ray. We're in the process of installing the Glen Oaks Boulevard median with Haha Manga by Forma Studio. We're also in the process of working with Kara Lynch on the Fremont Park columns tile artwork, in addition to the Montrose circular benches, Art Garden Spot with Cacherico. And then the Palmer Park basketball court mural by Basketball by Tanner Goldbeck. And we have 3 pieces that are on hold tentatively, which are the 2 pieces on Artsock Avenue, the overhead artwork in addition to the ground level sculpture, and then the Central Park sculpture. The Central Park block project did go to bid for construction. I think they're closing the bids this Friday. So that project will be en route. But that's just a quick overview of the different projects. And so Labas is here to provide an update on proposed new locations for your consideration. I'll hand it over to them.
I don't know how I'm going to follow Mr. Matsuda's energy, so I'm going to try to. We have some new faces on the commission. We had a chance to meet earlier. Bo Bass from Labas Projects, Catherine Forsyth, one of my project managers. Jennifer, thank you for giving a recap. It's been a while, so I was going to do sort of a similar recap, especially for the new commissioners, to sort of give everybody an update of where we are. We do have 5 projects at various forms of either completion or in process, totaling a little over $600,000 towards the budget we were allocated. We're looking to include 5 more installations down the road. We're going to look at a couple more locations. And again, just for sort of like the historical background, we had planned over $1 million of our budget towards the 3 primary installations on Artsock as part of the redevelopment. That redevelopment has obviously been like delayed for various reasons. So we've been working, with the commission, with Library Arts, to try to figure out those next set of locations. And I know we've looked at some other options, and I think we're getting to a point now where we feel pretty confident we have locations that we can actually deliver on, will actually really enhance, sort of, fit our goals of the overall project, which is enhancing community points across Glendale. So if we look at the map here, which ones? The green are the sort of 6 that we had approved in the past. Again, just trying to get a sense of where they are on the map. And then we have a couple of new locations that we've selected. We still will have a fairly decent budget remaining after these locations as well. I think, again, our hope is to still be able to deliver like a large gateway installation on Artsock once that redevelopment is hopefully approved, a contractor is found, and when that's getting delivered. But in the meantime, we want to keep. We don't want to wait for another year, 2 years for those things to be approved. We want to keep delivering artwork across the city. So I'll have Catherine walk us through the next sort of proposed locations. I think goals today are really to hopefully get your feedback on these locations, potentially approve these as sort of the opportunity for us to keep moving forward. If those get approved, if these locations are approved and sort of the rough budgets we have allocated, our next steps will be to go back, create another RFQ to sort of like build a new artist pool for these various locations. And then again, the process we've gone through is we sort of get an artist pool put together. We'll narrow that down. I know Sue's been involved. We'll grab someone from the commission to help us sort of narrow that pool down to sort of finalists. And then we'll ask those final artists to deliver site-specific concepts for us to bring back to you to approve like a real concept. So that's the next steps. But today, the goal is to hopefully take a look at these potential locations, ideally get feedback, pros, cons, and then move forward with some of them into that next stage. Any questions? Okay.
Commissioner Vidor, a question?
So I heard you mention the delay in Artsock, and I was of the opinion, or based on what I heard, and of course this is not something I can substantiate, is that it's kind of permanently delayed and that there's no chance to put Bountiful or Tamar Gohat in Artsock. So I guess the question is there going to be some, are we going to continue to look for a relocation of those, or are those off the table completely? So that's my one question. The second one I heard you mention the Tanner Goldbeck mural on the basketball court, and I wasn't sure what the timing was there, only because there's going to be a very large event in Palmer Park on August 5th, and I just wanted to make sure that, there wasn't a...
Yeah, I can respond to both those questions. So from what I understand, in the next fiscal year, City Council has deferred the Artsock Avenue project for at least 1 year. So it's not a permanent deferral, but it's for at least 1 year. That was the direction that was given by City Council. The Palmer Park basketball court mural, we're in the process of contracting with Tanner. So we're likely hoping, crossing fingers, that we're going to install the mural this fall. If not, then it would be next fall per park's recommendation based on the usage of the park, and ideally the least amount of usage is during the fall, winter time.
Any other questions at this moment?
Okay, so we'll jump into the specific locations and then we can kind of get feedback from there.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Catherine Forsyth, one of the project managers at the Bass Projects. Our first location is, we actually have two different artworks at Pacific Park. This is the first one. This large wall can be seen from, I believe, don't quote me, Riverdale. I think that's where the entrance of the park is. So it's visible from the street, which you can actually see on the next slide, please. The photo on the right is basically zoomed in a little bit, but all the way from the street. This wall is a large space. It wraps around. So it is on the community center and library. So we think it'd be a good opportunity for a large scale mural. Our second mural opportunity is a multi-plane mural on, this is to the right side of the entrance of the library at Pacific Park. We think that this could be another opportunity for kind of like a multi-plane mural that you can see from different vantage points. And that's our first two mural locations at Pacific Park.
If you're not familiar, that in front of the library there are pickleball courts. It's a very, very active area. Every time we've gone there, there's always been vibrant activity. So we thought, I think Parks has sort of requested those walls be utilized. And it's just, for clarification, it's just the gray walls. So it would sort of be these planes and then sort of the 90-degree angle wall. But both, again, highly visible, very active park. Parks Apartments requested these. So, we felt like strategically, this is a really good opportunity.
This next location at Pacific Park, I believe also may have been requested by Parks. There's actually some grills that had tile on them, and that was suggested as an opportunity, but we decided not to. They've actually removed the tiles because of damage, so we decided not to do anything with the grill area since people use it, when they're having picnics and things like that. Also a very highly utilized area, these pavilions. So what we would do here is essentially just do a mural or some kind of artwork around just the legs of the pavilions and then the roof. The roofs are a little faded already from the sun, so it would basically be something similar to Verdugo, where we added a mural to kind of brighten the space and just make it a more vibrant, welcoming kind of area for residents who use this space. Thank you. Our third opportunity is the Concord Street Bridge. This is a highly utilized bridge for foot traffic, car traffic. The budget's a little bigger on this one just because it's more of an intricate mural, but we think that this could be a really good landmark artwork location and just very highly utilized from foot traffic in the street. There you can kind of see it along the river from far away. Our next bridge is actually adjacent to the Concord Street Bridge. They're right next to each other on that river. You can kind of see one from the other. And similarly, we would be doing another kind of landmark artwork, painted mural on the bridge for the foot traffic and car traffic. There's just some more photos. And lastly, the Brand and Cerritos Avenue median. We currently have the Glen Oaks median in process. So at first we weren't sure if we were going to be able to use that median. So this was actually already a backup median that we had considered for the Haha Manga artwork from Forma Studio. And since we ended up going back to the primary location for that one, this median is another option, lots of foot traffic, lots of space. We've actually had a meeting there with, I believe, water, power, and everyone, so we know that it's able to host like a large scale artwork. So that would be another median artwork. There's a further photo.
And I think one of the things we liked about the Haha Manga piece at Glen Oaks is that it's creating sort of like a landmark visual as sort of like an entry-exit point into the city, and this sort of matches that as well. Where now we have another, now there's not a lot of foot traffic on the median, but again, a potential sculpture here will create another landmark sort of sculpture as a visual marker in and out of the city.
That's all we have. So if we want to do questions one by one, maybe for the pieces. Okay, because I know it's a lot to do at once. So I think if we can go back to the first artwork opportunity, and thank you. And yeah, I'd just like to open it up for any questions or comments for this Pacific Park exterior murals first.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments about this one?
Yes, I actually would like to know how you came up with the amount, like 75,000. Do we have an artist who's going to paint the mural, or we have a specific mural already ready for that wall? Like, it's interesting the process of coming up with the amounts.
The amounts are basically fairly standard. They're a little higher than the budgets we went out with for the initial program. I think in the initial program, we were allocating so much of the resource towards ArtSoc, and honestly, probably underpaid artists in some of the early things because we were shifting so much money towards the ArtSoc development. But in terms of public art, these are very reasonable amounts to pay professional artists for the scale, for the amount of time they take. The bridges, while maybe not as large a surface area, the complication of having to paint those details, the amount of time it's going to take, the challenges of working around those structures. So we increased those budgets because more than likely, even though most if those are approved, it'll probably be a simpler design. It'll take probably twice as long in terms of just human bandwidth. But that's sort of how we sort of allocated those budgets.
I also just wanted to specify that the 75,000 would be for both mural opportunities. Our thought was to probably have the same artist do both, just to have a cohesive artwork and not have anything look too off.
Yeah, because both this one and the sort of lenticular plane, not really a lenticular, but that plane, you can see them from each other. So that was really two sort of walls, but one location as far as we're concerned.
Just to quickly comment on your question, Commissioner Hay, this is just a very preliminary initial part of the process. So if these locations are approved, then we would go to an RFQ process where we would release it to artists, and then they're open to apply for these opportunities. So this is just an initial view, like this location. Is this an opportunity that the commission wants to support? So that, you can talk more about the
So I
application
guess the second part of your
process.
question is we do not have artists that are already lined up for these. We need to approve these. Then we'll have to go, I think, do we have to go to city council for approval on these locations? No, it's just commission.
Oh, for final approval,
For final
but not
approval.
for application.
And then, then we'll put out a request for qualifications to sort of build an artist pool. We'll then, again, I think I sort of talked about, then we'll narrow that list down with someone from the commission. We'll put a panel together, sort of narrow that list down, get ourselves a couple of finalists, and then we'll have those finalists provide site-specific design concepts for each of these locations, which will then pick, hopefully, a final design from.
Vice Chair Dorian.
I'm just going to say it all at once because I don't have specific comments for all of them, and I'd rather be quicker about it. I like all the locations. I think they're great. I love the two bridges that it'll be kind of tied in. My only thing is for the last one for Brand Studios, because we were talking about Glen Oaks and tying it in together. Is there any way where we can provide the proposal or the concept that we are doing for Glen Oaks so that artists are aware of what's going on the other side of, I guess, Glendale, and kind of have a visual of what we're trying to have tie in, so it's a cohesive look, so it's not too different from each other, because we don't want to put restrictions on an artist, but give them an idea of this is what other pieces in Glendale are going to look like that are the gateway pieces, and we want them to kind of be cohesive in somewhat of a manner or color scheme, whatever it might be, if that's possible.
That's actually, honestly, probably wouldn't have thought about that, but that's a great point. I think when we put out that RFP or RFQ at whichever stage, I think we can certainly include. Now that piece is going into fabrication, so we can actually include some of those approved concepts in that package so artists can see what else is happening.
Okay, and I don't have any further questions for you. They're all amazing. Thank you.
Just go down the line. Commissioner Vidor, do you have any comments?
Yeah, two, I agree with Commissioner Zadorian. I think they're all nice locations, and I'm sure the calls will hopefully reveal some really great art. On the first one, the murals, I'd just like to revisit what was going on in the past and may now have been resolved with a moratorium on murals because of a pending lawsuit that the state of California is now, I guess, considering changing laws about the qualifications of muralists. And I think there was a decision to hold on murals until that was resolved. So could you just give us an update on that right now?
You're getting ahead of me. I was going to provide an update and later.
Oh, you were? Okay,
but I
good.
could do it now. You're correct. So the Arts and Culture Commission has been working on a mural ordinance for years, probably since 2021. And so we are ready. We had a draft ready and prepared to go. And then, as Commissioner Vidor had alluded to, the state of California has decided to change the law in regards to muralists. Previously, muralists who received a stipend of $500 would be required to have a California state contractor's license. And so since that is financially cumbersome for artists to do, the California Advocates for the Arts has been advocating for a change in law. So SB 456 was passed in the Senate. It is now have moved to the Assembly. The Assembly is reviewing it, California State Assembly. The goal is that the Assembly would approve it in September or so, and then the governor would therefore approve it at the end of the year. Then we would move forward with our ordinance, hopefully in the early of next year. Regarding these murals, these wouldn't probably be installed for another year or so, based on the timeline.
Oh, okay, it's good to know. I didn't know a bill was already on the docket and had passed one part of it, so that's great news. The second one is, I know that 3 of our truss bridges are historic landmarks in Glendale, and I just want to make sure, you know, all the parties are talking to one another, if these are one of the, or all 3 are the truss bridges.
Again, you're just beating me every time, Commissioner Vidor.
Sorry.
You're absolutely correct. That's the one caveat that I was going to say about the bridges, is that we did check in with the Historic Preservation Commission, and it is a historical landmark, as you alluded to. So if the commission is interested in painting this as a mural, we would have to go get approval from the Historic Preservation Commission, ultimately, in order to paint a mural onto these specific bridges.
Both of them?
On both of them. Mm-hmm.
Is that all for now?
Yeah.
Commissioner Kasumi?
I love that the park is going to be start including murals because it's such a prominent area for our community. There's a swimming pool nearby. There's a elementary school basketball court. So brightening up the place, I think, will be very inspiring for the kids coming and playing and having parties, gathering. I think it's a very center spot. I would like to see different artists, possibly not necessarily the same redundant work. Not that it's going to be redundant, but just to give our community members, artists in our community, an opportunity to also approach and see what they can contribute.
Sorry, Commissioner, are you saying different artists for each wall, or different artists?
Possibly. I mean, I don't want to rule it out, because not one art is great for everybody. But I don't know. I just would like to not have it ruled out.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean,
just keep it as an option.
I think we've gone through this in the process when, you know, we'll have multiple artists just give us site-specific concepts, and then, you know, when we get to commission, there's certainly the possibility where maybe we love 2 artists and maybe we can sort of like split it or sort of bifurcate it. I think strategically, the proximity of the walls, sometimes, again, just an experience when we have a lot of walls that are in close proximity, at least from our perspective, strategically, sometimes we like to have it to be the same artist so that you don't end up, you know, individually they might both be great, but when you put them next to each other, it sort of like creates a little visual chaos just because it's, you know, the proximity. But certainly that will be a decision that the commission will make.
Also possibly have artists that are familiar with the community and the type of people that go to the center and what happens there, and so it's relatable to the people that go and enjoy the center.
Yeah, certainly. I think most of the RFQs we've put out have included a lot of detail about, you know, whether it was Verdugo Park or whether it was Artsock, Boulevard, all of the
Age range of
RFQs.
people that attend the place.
Yeah, we put a lot of detail about that location. We actually, when the artists come in and present, most of the artists, I think, have been really good about responding and speaking directly how their work directly responds to the community, the city of Glendale, to the location. I think we've seen that. And the artists who come in with those kind of perspectives have generally had their work really well responded to by the commission. So, yeah.
Commissioner Kazorian?
I think the places, the locations are great. Is there a specific theme? Because I think we always come back to like a theme, right? It's not necessarily like that an artist is gonna choose something completely different for each different location. I think it's more like a theme based, or it probably will be something like that, like a theme, like the way that we did the tunnel. We were supposed to do the tunnel. Or the boxes, they have a specific theme, so it's not just, that's what I'm assuming. But I think it's great. I think that these walls definitely need some color and some, I don't know, change. I wanted to really ask, what's the, for the bridges, what is the idea for it?
Good question. I'll first sort of respond to the idea of themes. And again, I think for every one of the locations we've worked on in the past, we don't really give a specific theme, but it's more of like, this is what this location sort of means for the community. This is the background of Glendale. We've been trying to find artists that are sort of more local and understand the community as well. So it's less about an individual sort of theme per location, but really making sure the artists have an understanding of how their work will hopefully respond to the community. And I think like the pieces that were designed for Artsock were specifically like, they were so, again, I'm not using the word theme, but like hyper sort of like focused on the community and the history of like the sort of culture in Glendale. So hopefully we'll continue to see that with these locations as well. In terms of the bridges, the Concord Street Bridge already had an artist sort of like guerrilla, sort of, I guess technically graffiti the bridge, and has been since repainted. Again, I think the strategy behind these is as we're looking for locations, it's a fairly inexpensive way for us to, I think, create really large-scale public art moments in fairly high-traffic locations, high visibility. And again, both bridges are already, you can see they're in bad need of like painting and repair. And I think layering an artist's work on top of this will sort of like solve a lot of those issues. And hopefully abate any future graffiti on these as well.
Yeah. And while there's not specific themes, there are certain goals in mind for each location, like based on, like for the park, for instance, like who utilizes the park, and the tunnel one that you mentioned, like we had artists go there and kind of see who is around, like utilizing the area. So kind of similar to themes though.
Yeah, not necessarily like a theme for everything, but like the theme for that area.
There's a goal in mind for sure.
Okay.
Commissioner Atienne?
Yeah, I like all of the locations. I will say the Pacific Park community, I grew up going to Armenian school there, so it would be really cool to have a mural there. I was thinking, like, what about an optical illusion on the panels? Would that be possible?
Well, it's funny. That's why I've been calling that a lenticular wall, but it's not a true lenticular because it's really only one side. But we talked about it, how again, we don't get to design those, right? We're going to put it out to the creative community, and hopefully we find artists that find really creative ways to utilize those walls. But like when we were on site, we were like, okay, this could be a really fun opportunity. And then hopefully when some artists come back with some great concepts, then again, this is up to the commission to sort of decide like what that final design looks like.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a couple more. Commissioner Zadorian, go ahead.
Yes, so I just had a question. So if we do find out that the bridges are historic land pieces, I mean, because it has been painted over, there is the potential that they do allow us to use it for art. If not, do we have a backup location? Because there are 2 locations. Do we have backups yet?
We're sort of treating the bridge as sort of 1/2 locations. But right now, we do have some other things we've been thinking about, but we sort of wanted to go through this process. And actually, the median's already been approved, so we know that's deliverable.
Okay.
I know we've gotten ahead of ourselves a little bit with like the tunnel, where we're like, we all love the concept, and then we find out, that later it's not deliverable. But it's sort of been chicken or the egg for us. Sort of like, do we sort of get commission's blessing to sort of chase those things, or sort of chase them first? So hopefully historic will allow us to paint these. But if not, then we can keep the process moving with the other locations, and then get into our next stage of, maybe by that point, Artsakh Boulevard's, moving forward again, and we're just trying to keep as much moving forward as we can.
Love that. That's amazing. And so I just had a comment about the Pacific Park wall. I know that you did say you'd like to see 2 different artists. I do want to see it stay one artist because, like you said, the proximity is so close to each other. It should be cohesive because it's one location. And for the art, it could be different concepts of art, but it should be tied in together by one artist. So visually, it will be, and strategically, it will be cohesive. And that's just my opinion. So if anybody else also agreed with the commissioner, I have no problem, but I just think that that's what we've done in the past, and that's what's looked good, and I would like to stick to that as well.
Commissioner Vidor?
I like Commissioner Atien's idea of optical illusion. I know there's a lot of controversy about trompe l'oeil, but it's an extremely engaging, when you look at it online, you just go down the rabbit hole of looking at it because it's so fantastic. Maybe a little sensational, but I'd like us to seriously consider doing something over there with trompe l'oeil, because I think that would be just a huge amount of fun, and it's artistically challenging too. So I'm just putting it out there. The second thing was on the bridges. I agree we have to look at it very carefully, how we handle this thing with historic. Those bridges are works progress administration projects, and there's actually a national project going on right now called the Living New Deal, in which people are, they're associated with Berkeley somehow, but they're a private entity, a nonprofit entity, and they're cataloging and documenting all of the New Deal projects in the country. And they've been to Glendale a couple times, and they've visited, and they've cataloged, I think, 40 sites that, we have a lot of them here in the city, and the bridges are involved there. So, one idea could be to look at color schemes of the WPA period. It was a post-Depression, kind of a really interesting era in our history. And a lot of artists flourished in that area, and we could maybe take some ideas from the great graphic artists and designers who worked in the WPA at that time, and other, entities of the New Deal, and see if we could come up with something thematically that way. And then it wouldn't be like a design that would extract from the architecture of the bridges. It would be color-based.
No, I love that. I mean, that's something like in an RFQ, we can put in the history of the bridges and the time
Yeah.
period, and again, see if some creatives can take those sort of themes and
Right.
find a way to deliver again something that works both for the community and as a nod to the history.
Yeah.
Like that.
If I can say something too. Sure. I, for one, would like to see these bridges preserved. You don't add artwork to the Manhattan Bridge or the Golden Gate, so if we can find a way to preserve it and clean it up and do the repairs it needs, but I don't necessarily think it might need artwork to take away the attention from what it actually is, and a historical bridge that needs to be put on a pedestal and appreciated as is. But that's just an honest opinion of mine.
No, fair enough. I mean, we're here to try to present the best options, and it is your purview to make these decisions.
I feel like there are so many other locations in Glendale that could use artwork and murals, but not necessarily art bridges.
Fair enough.
Thank you, everybody. Really good discussion. One thing about the Pacific Park, which I think everybody is enthusiastic about, I do agree that having a lead artist makes sense, but I'm always, a fan of participatory artwork. So, I mean, that could be something that we consider in the process of selecting an artist or building an artist pool are artists who may be really interested in engaging with the community in that way. We've had other artists do that where they've taken lines of poetry from students, you know, and incorporated it into the artwork. So that's just an option for the RFQ and for the pool of artists that we start to build in terms of what their process is going to be around coming up with a concept. The other comment I have is, yeah, the bridge is it's an interesting site because I'm trying to wrap my head around what a mural looks like. I mean, you know, I'm imagining, obviously it wouldn't be able to be something very representational. So I'm just curious, like, can we push our conception of what this could be as a site for public art? You know, I didn't know any of this history of these bridges, and it is not obvious that they are historical. So is there a way to have an artwork that does bring that forward, but is maybe it's not painting the bridges, maybe there is some other type of interpretive form that is hanging on the bridge? You know, like, I'm not sure. And so I think that's a question I would put out there. Because even if the bridges were painted, we still may not be able to recognize, you know, it would brighten it, but would it kind of bring forth this really interesting history of them being works in progress?
When we were on site, we actually, like, we're talking a little bit about potentially lighting and how to utilize that. It is interesting, when we looked at the Concrete Street Bridge, what it actually brought it to mind was an artist that illegally sort of like painted it. And it actually was kind of interesting. I wish we had pictures of it. I'm sure we do. It actually kind of made the bridge stand out. And it was almost unfortunate that this artist went and did it sort of guerrilla, because sort of like, it was almost like if they had proposed this is something I think we could have brought forward. And it really did an interesting job of, you know, they need painting, they need repair, but you kind of lose them, you know, I think when you're driving back and forth across them, because they just feel kind of like old relics rather than interesting historical elements. And when this particularly the Concrete Street Bridge had graffiti on it, it actually made it stand out. You kind of noticed it. But again, I think, Commissioner Yank, I think certainly we can look at other, doesn't necessarily need to just be paint. We do have the budget if an artist had an idea of, like, whether creating a lighting installation or some other form of like accentuating these bridges and kind of bringing them back to life. I think we would certainly look at other options.
I know I've seen the bridges surrounded by flowers in the past, and I thought they were absolutely lovely. So maybe landscape art with flowers and trees and some polish on the bridge. I do see how it could be very inviting with people's own personal artwork. It's just like when you go to Amsterdam and there's a giant bridge, people put locks on them. Mm-hmm. That's a cute little tradition for the locals to have. But I wouldn't necessarily do the whole thing. But maybe plants and flowers. It's a nice way.
I think
just a thought.
We won't be designing these. I think it's, you know, we're going to put these opportunities out to the creative community, and then hopefully, you know, somebody comes up and devises something, whether it's a landscape or whether it's lighting. You know, even the sort of the 134 tunnel that we were, you know, unfortunately not able to move forward with. Like, we got some amazing lighting concepts in there that sort of checked off a lot of boxes. Is like, that tunnel needs lighting, and it's kind of a scary tunnel that a lot of people actually use. So it's one of those things that, like, we would have been able to enhance it with something that was functional as well, and that's kind of the hope for the bridges.
The lighting wouldn't disturb the residents around the bridges, or?
I mean, again, it all depends. It's I don't think lighting here would be 24 hours, but it's certainly maybe it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. The other bridge is mostly.
Lighting is a good concept. I sorry to interrupt, but lighting is a good concept, I think.
Yeah, but again, so we're looking at these as these are potential, like, blank canvases. Let's see what the creative community comes back with. Obviously, the bridges, we need to get approval from historic, and I'm sure whatever concepts are approved would have to get additional layers of approval. We just really like them as locations that I think would really be differentiated. I mean, you know, murals are great. Murals at Pacific Park, we think, make a lot of sense. But people have seen murals. But again, one of the reasons we love that tunnel, I think everyone really loved that tunnel, even though it presented challenges, is that if we could deliver that, it becomes something that people really talk about. And that would be the hope for the bridges, is that like, it's not something we see every day. We see murals, we see, utility boxes, but this would be something that potentially could be one of those things that people really talk about. And then people will, be searching out these bridges to take pictures with.
I have a question. Could we possibly incorporate the sidewalk art on the sides of the bridges?
That's a great question. I was going to say prior to your landscaping question that we would have to confer with Public Works and Parks because they are in charge of obviously the bridge and the maintenance, but also if we were to do landscaping maintenance. So we'd have to confer with them and see if that's even possible.
Because I've seen flowers like roses wrap around the bottom of the bridges in the past, but also having the sidewalks painted with murals, or that would be a possible intrigue too for the community.
Yeah, even like the railings on the side, they were in need of a new paint job too, so that's another option. But lighting is a really cool one as well.
All right. Well, I think I would be interested in continuing to explore the bridges, knowing that they're complicated, but potentially interesting opportunities, and going to the next step and seeing what the possibilities are regarding Public Works, regarding the Historic Commission, and then also, if we're able to move to the point where we are inviting artists, what kind of interesting creative concepts might come up. Because there may be things that we're not thinking about that artists will come back and we'll be like, oh, that's perfect, So I would be in favor of approving these locations for further exploration, but I'm happy to hear if anybody would object to that.
I would just say one note too, especially for the new commissioners, that our team is just sort of, we're acting as producers, or we're expediting, trying to put a pool together, trying to bring, creative concepts forward, but ultimately it's the commission making decisions. So, we have no ability to say, like, this is the art that's being delivered. Like, we're presenting things to you that we feel fit the goals that you're giving us, and that, again, if concepts are coming forward for the bridge or the park that you don't feel comfortable with, that's your vote that counts and your decision that counts. So.
Great. Well, I will, any other?
If if the commission has chosen all the locations, I can read them into the motions. Okay. But I just want to confirm the commissioners are okay with all of the proposed locations? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I will read it into the motion, and then we can have the motion in a second. So the Arts and Culture Commission hereby approves the following proposed locations for public art landmark pieces to be included as part of the citywide public art landmarks RFQ number 3, and the application review process to be managed by Lavasse Projects on behalf of the City of Glendale, as more fully outlined in the July 17th, 2025 report by the Library Arts and Culture's Principal Arts and Culture Administrator. The first location is Pacific Park Murals. A second location is Pacific Park Pavilion area. The third is the Concord Street Bridge. The fourth is the Kenilworth Avenue Bridge, and the fifth is the Brand Boulevard and Cerritos Avenue median.
I so move.
We have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Yes.
Commissioner Kazumian,
Yes.
Commissioner Vidor,
Yes.
and Chairperson Ying.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Agenda item 7, discussion items. 7A, public art donation policy.
Commissioners, we have had 2 artists who are interested in donating public art, specifically to the city. In Exhibit A, which is in your packet, is included the Administrative Policy Manual, Chapter 6, Policy 610, 6-10, which includes the policy for gifts, acquisitions, and loans of artwork to the City of Glendale through the Arts and Culture Commission. This was last updated in February 1st of 2006, so it is time to update the policy, and we wanted to receive your feedback on any updates that you would like to propose for this policy.
I didn't get the policy.
Is it
Policy
possible
was
to pull it
included
up
in the
on this?
packet.
Is it possible to pull it up on the screen, just for folks to reference?
Okay, we'll pull it up on the screen, but Chairperson Yink, if you'd like to start the conversation.
Yeah, so, thinking about public art donation to the City of Glendale, in the current policy, there just aren't very many metrics through which to judge what art should be collected by the city. I think this has a couple of impacts, because then sort of anybody who's bringing art to the city and saying, like, here, do you want it, it doesn't really give the commission much to work with in terms of should we accept this work, or is this something that feels like it's of significance or something that the city should acquire versus just a random piece of artwork. This then has impacts on the city in terms of storage, maintenance, where would it be displayed or not displayed. And so I think these, in kind of getting these donors that are attempting to give work to the city, it just felt like the commission needed a lot more to work with in terms of being able to judge whether or not we should take the work. And having a donations policy is something that's standard practice for like museums or galleries or cities. If somebody's trying to give you artwork, you need to be able to judge whether that's something that your museum should even have in its collection, based on your mission and based on what type of art you collect. So I think that's something the city should have. We do have the policy, but again, it's very vague right now and doesn't really give us any metrics to work with. So I think that's where we would love commissioner feedback. If somebody is trying to give us an artwork, what are some good bullet points of who the artist is or what the artwork is about that we should consider including in this policy. So I'm happy to open it up to any thoughts or comments. Vice Chair Zadorian.
Question. So this was last updated. It says revised 2006. Is that accurate? Okay.
It's been a while. Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Feel very bad.
God, I can't come back from that. My question, sorry, let me get back to, I remember discussing this. Did we not talk about this about 2 years ago? You had brought it up.
It's come up before.
It has come up, right? But we didn't do anything about it or have any other discussions?
Since then.
Okay.
We didn't modify this policy.
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
So I just want to know, so just because I've seen how a lot of policies are changed, do we have a comparison of like a different city who does have an updated version that we can look at as reference of what we should be trying to achieve?
I think that's a great recommendation. We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if we can find a really good city, and then if possible, and you can just email it to us, we won't discuss amongst ourselves, of course, but if we can just, I'll take a look at it, because right now I can't just off the top of my head give recommendations without looking at other references of what we should be doing, because I don't know what, the guidelines would be, but if we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can bring it back as another agenda item, and in the interim, send you all other policies from
Perfect.
different
Thank
municipalities.
you.
Any other comments or questions?
I would like to probably come back to this after we've gotten the guidelines and have revisited this packet. But to be clear, you're wanting to suggest us to not accept every piece of work that gets handed to us?
I mean, I think it's something to think about.
Is it because
Yeah.
we've had bad experience in the past, or someone give a bad piece of art, or I don't know.
I mean,
I'm just trying to understand.
I think to your point, it's prudent to have a criteria, right, and eligibility for what we're looking for, so that we can make sure that the donations are in alignment with what the city is looking for in regards to donations as part of our collection of artworks.
And following it to the extreme, say somebody's moving and they want to offload their entire studio full of artwork, and they're like, we're just going to give it to the city, what do we do? Like again, there's storage costs, there's maintenance costs, like where does all this artwork go? Is it our responsibility as a city to kind of take any work that is given to us? I don't think so. I mean, I personally don't think so. So I think oftentimes what we think about is like the status of the artist and their importance to the city. We think about the artwork itself and its relevance to the city. Like does it actually have any relevance to Glendale at all? Otherwise, why would the city acquire it? I mean, those are just the questions that come up in my mind when considering that.
Yes, I agree. It should be aligned with our standards and criterias, and I think it should be a case-by-case situation. I would like every time someone wants to gift something to us, just bring it to the attention of commissioners and maybe decide together if it's worth it or not. You know, the name should be involved. I mean, if the artist is also a resident of our cities, another plus. So like like go with the checklist and everything is marked, and then why not?
Yeah, and right now there's just no checklist. So I think that was the question, is like, maybe we should have something like that. Like the artist lives in Glendale, the artist, whatever
Exactly.
those checklists are that we want to come up with.
I have
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Other cities are doing. I know the city of Beverly Hills and the city of Santa Monica, one of their primary focuses is their collection of artwork, right? And making sure the artwork is appraised and in alignment, what we're saying, with what the city is looking for in regard to their collection. So I think reviewing those other policies from other cities is crucial so that we can see where our policy will be in alignment.
Yeah, a couple years ago, maybe not even that long ago, I had noted as I walked in that there was a piece of artwork on the wall in the City Hall lobby. I don't know if it's still there or not. But anyway, I just wondered how it got there. And nobody knew how it got there, who put it there, and there certainly had not been, I mean, the policy that is existing today was not adhered to either. So if anybody here knows anything about that artwork, I'd be interested to hear about it. But one of the things I noted, and there was nothing bad to say about the quality of the artwork, it was a beautiful piece, but it was mounted in a very inappropriate place that really didn't do it justice, and it was mounted in the type of frame that didn't really jive aesthetically with the architecture of the lobby. So a couple of us inquired independently of the city attorney to see what was going on, and we didn't get an answer, so it just kind of died. But my feeling is, after that experience, was that this is a huge rabbit hole for us to go down, and right now my opinion is, which is completely subject to being changed, is that we should not amass a collection of art. I think once we open the floodgates and it gets known that there's art being accepted, that a lot of people will want to do this, and it happens all the time. I know at the doctor's house, everybody wants to donate their stuff, and probably other museums and places, and I think we would end up in a situation that would be a no-win for us. And clearly we shouldn't just mount things without a reason for putting them where we plan to put them. I mean, we have a very carefully crafted public art program that we're all really proud of, and why we would want to compromise it with this situation just makes, right now, no sense to me. So I can't wait to see the other examples and see what else is going on. That's my opinion.
Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, so as I said, case-by-case situation will be the solution, because every
Yeah.
time they can bring, we'll review. If everyone likes it, then let's accept it. If not, then not.
Yeah.
You like that? Yes, I think would be great. But if we were to checklist, I mean, again, I don't know the type of art that's
Just to
being
give a
received.
priority to someone, for example, who lives in
say,
Glendale instead of someone who is from another state or another county.
And that is the process. So as we currently have it, is any donations would come before us. The only reason that we're bringing this up is that rather than have it just be based on our individual subjective, oh, I kind of like this is nice, that we have at least a basic checklist of things that we would want to accept, just to kind of see, are they eligible to be donating their work? Think of it as an eligibility checklist. And that can be whatever we decide it's going to be, But I think it's good to look at other cities and to think about what are the boundaries that we want to put on who would be eligible, what kind of artwork we would want to consider, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Since I'm probably the only person on the commission who doesn't like the idea at all, I think if we, I think if we were to have, to elaborate on this and refine this policy, that part of the approval process of acceptance would be to be able to identify a place where we would feel good about displaying the art, because if we're just amassing art to put it in storage, we are not a museum. We aren't a museum.
Yeah.
So it would have to be part of the process to say, yes, we see it going here, because when it leaves our hands after we approve it, we don't want art popping up all over the place where we went, where did that come from and why is that there? So I think that has to be part of any policy we enact.
Yeah,
I think it's honestly a good thing because the art technically represents us and the commission and Glendale and everything. So I think having some type of like regulation and a checklist is good, because we can't, if we accept everything, then, like she said, like we don't know who brought in that art, and it's a representation of us, So I think it's a good thing, and I agree that we should revise it and, make some changes.
I think it's definitely worth revising, but again, not every single member of our community is the same as the other. I just think about our community's morale. Like, for instance, if I get a piece of art from a student of mine, and she gives me a self-portrait, and she thinks it's a beautiful piece of art she's giving to me, I can't accept it. I can only accept this. That's just a thought I have. But again, I'm totally up to revisiting the idea and what we can do to make sure we're not hoarding things that we don't need either.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a balance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Atai?
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a point for historical art, but I think we should make a point for that, preserving any historical photographs or any art that has history behind it, like for Glendale, or just like anything that has history behind it. I think that should be more considered, prioritized. But yeah, that's just my thought.
Thank you.
I will say I do believe that there is a need to enable some type of regulations regarding this policy. I'll just give a quick example for at Central Library in our basement, we have artworks that are probably since 2006 or prior that we have no idea how they got there. We just amassed them and the city accepted them. So if there is a policy in place to the dimension of maintenance and storage, we don't have space for that. It will end up in the basement of a library or in a basement of somewhere. So I think it is prudent for us to establish some type of policy and regulations for how we want to accept the artwork and what artworks we're going to accept on behalf of the city.
Thank you.
We can't just pass along the artwork that's been there for that many years, like just move it along, or
Decommission it, you mean, like out the door?
I think it's an updating of this policy. Right now, there is no decommissioning process per se. I think in one of the, if you can scroll up a little bit, there's a process of deinstallation, I think, towards the bottom. Yeah, disposition of art, which we have never done. And I think we should update this part of the policy as well. A lot of the artists probably are not living or in Glendale any longer at this point, the ones that we've seen so far in the basement of the Central Library.
what would we do with them?
I think this is the discussion.
Exactly the question.
That's the question.
Part of the process.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's what we need to think about as a city, and understanding too that the city is not always the right place for these artworks to go. And so if people are like, oh, I want to give it to the city, and they have some kind of expectation of what's going to happen to that artwork, and it ends up sitting in the basement of Central Library and then getting sold later, like that's a disservice to the artist
Yeah,
too.
of course. No
So
one
we
wants
have to
give it.
think about it. Like they could have, donated it somewhere else where it actually would have gotten displayed. Like, so I think those are the things we need to think about. Like the whole, from beginning to the end of the life of the artwork. Then we don't get in these situations where we just have piles of artwork that we're like, what do we even do with this? Yeah.
I had one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be very involved in the Brand Associates, which is the nonprofit arm of the Brand Library, and every year for the last coming up 53 years, there's been a Works on Paper show sponsored by the Brand Associates, and the process used to be for the awards that are given out, that there would be a purchase award where, based on written criteria, the Brand Associates would decide to buy a piece that was worthy of retaining. And eventually, not that long ago, but eventually that process was abandoned because amassing a collection of art and having it sit, and some of it does go out and circulate in the Brand Library. Right now, the auditorium there has some of those pieces from that collection on display. But the maintenance, the insurance issues, it's really quite difficult to manage a collection of art. Some of it got eaten by vermin at one point because things were going on in the basement. And it really is quite labor intensive to manage art. And there was an attempt to have a decommissioning process written so that we could sell it off, and that turned out to be, you know, fraught with all kinds of legal details. We tried to get some of it displayed in other buildings in the city of Glendale, and there were insurance issues. So, you know, as they say, the devil is in the details, and I know painfully that it doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to work out. So.
Great. Thank you all for the discussion. I think this is definitely something to prioritize. So we'll receive some information, other policies, and then we'll take this up at a later meeting. Yeah. Great. Thank you, everybody.
Agenda item 7B, 2025 to 2026 work plan progress updates.
I did provide an update, thank you, Commissioner Vidor, about the mural ordinance. So you have that update, but basically the SB 456 was passed in the Senate, is going to the Assembly, and then hopefully we will have that new bill approved in fall of this year. The Beyond the Box, Utility Box Mural Art Program is open. The application is open. The theme of this year is Celebrating Glendale. So the application closes on July 25th on a Friday at 5 p.m. So if you have any artists who are interested, please let them know. We have a new exhibit at the Adams Mini Park gas station called Of Waves and Stone by Yu Nguyen that opens on July 28th and goes through September 19th. It's a fantastic exhibit. It's already gotten a lot of press and excitement about it, so we're very excited about that installation. And then lastly, the Brand Summer Music Series, as Ms. Lopez had mentioned previously, has launched, and we have our concert series on Fridays, July and August, 7 p.m. on the lawn area behind Brand Library. So those are the updates.
Agenda item 8, commission and staff comments.
Any commission staff comments? Vice Chair Zadorian?
No comments. Thank you, everyone.
Commissioner Hay?
I have no comments.
Commissioner Kasumian?
I had a question about opening up our library arts and culture, a volunteer program where we could get volunteers from high school volunteers or college grad volunteers to help with whatever we need to move along our process. I don't know, help you guys maybe get things started or move along. I just wanted to put that out there if it's something that can help us and help you. But that's all.
Okay. Commissioner Vidor?
No comments, just thank you all, as always, for all the hard work. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Kazorian?
No comments, thank you.
And Commissioner Atian?
No comments, thank you.
Right. I have no comments right now, so thank you. And I guess I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All right, we are a second? Anyone want a second?
I'll say.
You second.
I'll second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Nobody wants to leave.